Oh, itchy nose. Hello and welcome. So in today's show, then, we are looking at the most current community proposals. In the top right here, we've got Peter Zen, who's doing the Decode status platform, which should be really, really interesting. And obviously, we've got Exitus as always. How are we, fellas?
Yeah, good.
Very good, thank you.
Ah, fantastic. We've also got the added bonuses. We're going to do Exitus's proposal for Vanguard, which isn't available on Decode's platform just yet, but we're going to go over some of those points, and hopefully it should be available in the next few days. Now, I've not met Peter before, so I just want to do a little bit of a kind of learn a little bit about Peter. I know that in the past he has done the Umbrel integration for DCR decks, which is absolutely fantastic. For those that haven't tried out Umbrel and haven't tried out DCR decks, definitely give that a go, and obviously give the community some feedback. It'd be great to have that feedback, actually see how it all works. And then to move on to this status platform is really exciting. Actually, I'm quite keen to see how this will work out, and the goals that we're going to be setting for this. So, but before we get into that, Peter, tell us just a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your crypto journey.
I've discovered Decred, I think it's 2017, 2018. And I've been dabbling around the project since. I've been recently working on contributing things to DCR decks, and just dabbling around really in various repos. I did some work on the web platform long time ago, years ago, and so I'm just trying to contribute. I'm not a hardcore developer,
No,
but just front end stuff mostly, and these.
What kind of work do you do on the decks? Because I know we're nearing the decks version 1 release, which I think a lot of people are excited about.
I'm doing front end work mostly, little bits and bobs, not like big atomic swap, related hardcore stuff. Just mostly front end. And recently, I've been trying to get these installation bits done as per the latest. DCRX prop, basically Windows installer, various Linux installers, the Snap package, FlatHub, that sort of thing, that makes it easy to install the app on various platforms. So hopefully the Windows builder is currently being tested and reviewed. That should ship a standard Windows installer package, basically. So it's a click sort of installer, and the FlatHub and Snap packaging is also currently being tested as we speak, and hopefully they will also go in soon. And been doing some work on the Mac desktop application, notifications, little things like that. Just trying to iron out, these platform specific things to make the desktop app work nicely.
That's amazing stuff. So we're going to look at the three proposals, well, two proposals that are currently up, and obviously the Vanguard proposal. We'll start with Peter's proposal, the Decred status platform. Peter might have to dash halfway through, so we'll get his part done first, and we'll get some insights into what the platform is going to be about, and go from there. And if you guys in the chat watching this live, of which there are currently 5 of you, so let's get the message out there that this is live if you're on the social medias, and ask your questions. So if you've got questions about any of this stuff, just ask away and we'll see what we can get answered. So the status page is a platform that monitors the availability of the key network services, applications and APIs on the Decode network, and displays this information in a simple page. And if you go to the proposal, there is some nice kind of displays of how this is going to look. The the software being used is open source. It's called Uptime Karma. I think that is
Kuma. I don't know how
Kuma.
it's pronounced.
Sorry, that was my bad. Uptime Kuma, and this platform is going to be able to kind of monitor all these services, but also it's going to be able to give notifications, which I thought was really, really interesting. If you've ever been using an application and it goes down, you're going, "Ow, what's happening here?" What tends to happen is you head on over to Matrix and you chuck up a couple of comments in the say the DCR decks or the mixing service, and they go, "Oh yeah, it's down the minute. We're just fixing it, or we're just doing a maintenance upgrade." So the idea with this platform is it gives you some, and if you want to do it, if the core team wants to do an upgrade, they can actually schedule it in, and notifications can be sent out platform wide, which I thought was really, really interesting, and it helps, and it should help us coordinate all of these efforts. But I'll let Peter talk more about that. So my first thought is obviously what is the capabilities of this platform, but my second thought is what made you choose Uptime Kuma? Were there any other packages that were similar or that you thought about?
I haven't found other platforms. Basically, this was the only kind of recent platform. It's not terribly complicated. This stuff is supposed to be simple. Because it's all it does is basically checks the various services on a continual basis. And reports, when one of them goes down. Most platforms like exchanges and companies, they use Atlassian's status page platform, which is a cloud-based solution, and it seems to be really popular. And Binance, Coinbase, they all use no, Binance doesn't have a status page, but Coinbase and Kraken, they both use this Atlassian product. So basically that was one option, and the other one was Kuma, Uptime Kuma. So its capabilities are basically just that. You can define a list of services you want to monitor, and then you can go in and tightly control what it is that you want to monitor, or how do you consider that service being monitored being healthy at that moment. So the idea is that the current iteration that is online at the moment, so the proof of concept is pretty simple. It doesn't. It basically just pings the services and does some basic requests, like basically makes sure that, for example, if it pings decred.org, the website, then it gets something back, and it's actually going to show you a web page when you look at it. And it does the same with the other services, proposals, Politaia, DCR data, and the DEX. So the proposal is basically about making these probes, as they are called, these test methods, more robust, and to look for problems that are that may indicate that the service has some kind of issues. Like for example, the recent DCR DEX outage, which is pretty bad, and this is where this whole idea came out of. That was a hardware issue that this service, Uptime Kuma, would not, in its present form, would have noticed that there is a problem. So the idea is that we teach basically Uptime Kuma to be probe deeper into the into these decred services and be able to show that there is an underlying problem.
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I think someone in the comments, Air Sandfire said it's an absolute no-brainer that we would have a monitoring service that we could actually coordinate all the systems a little bit better, and it does make the platform, kind of maybe professional is the wrong word, but it kind of moves towards that, which I quite like. And it wasn't until I looked at your proposal that to list all of those things that it would monitor and try to maintain, and would look at monitoring. I just thought, wow, Decred actually has so many different things going on behind the scenes that this is absolutely amazing. One thing that definitely interested me was the notification system. If that's the way I read it properly, is there a way of once the system's up and running, once you sort out all the probes, so they dig deeper into DCR decks and the mixing service and all those things, is there a way for Uptime Kuma to actually send subscribers the notification that things have gone down? Is that a possibility? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, it can. It has like hundreds of different messaging services hooked up to it, so can define matrix room or Signal, Telegram, all these can be plugged into it.
So it rather than the way I was thinking about this is maybe it'd email each of the users, but it could actually use Matrix. It could actually ping a message to Matrix. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So you basically for each of these health checks, you can define whether you want to get notifications when it goes down. And I can control it. You can define several notifications. One maybe goes to the person operating one of the service. Some other service pings somebody else. So it's pretty flexible.
That's really another question that kind of relates to that. Sorry to interrupt. Is there a possibility of actually having this service directly implemented into the wallet? So say, for instance, you're using Decrediton mixing and all of a sudden the server goes down. Would it be possible to have that as a notification in the wallet? Is that possible?
Well, I suppose you could, but the Decrediton or any wallet that uses that mixer should detect any issue on its own. So because it's going to be unable to connect to the mixer or some backend service, so it's pretty much already covered.
I suppose,
or it should be.
It's just the way I was thinking about it is it's quite nice because at the moment, if something goes down like that, you actually don't get a warning or anything. It's just like it's not working. And I quite like the idea as if you are in Decrediton that it would fetch a message from the status page, say, "Oh, this is why it's not working." I quite like that idea as well, right? Because obviously, if you're in Decrediton and something goes down, it's like, it doesn't work. But the first reaction I always have is it my system? Is something wrong with my system? Is something going on there? Whereas, and which I suppose is commonplace for most people. Whereas if you had this notification directly in the wallet, said, "Hey, look, we've just got this outage at the moment," it puts people's minds at rest a little bit easier. But it would be great if that was already built in. But since we're building this,
but then again, it's interesting thing about a decentralized platform like Decred. There is a lot of fault tolerance in the system. So if you mentioned all that long list of services, almost any one of them could go down and the network would keep functioning. So there are maybe if DCR data goes down, you don't get the block explorer, but everything else will work. If half of the seeders go down, the network still keeps working. Or the mixer goes down, maybe you will miss a few rounds of mixes, but it will catch up once it comes back. So it's quite interesting, but still you want to be able to see that everything is correct from the public's point of view, and the tax is pretty important. That's that was basically the main motivation because as a customer, if you have money on in your DEX wallet and you want to get out of a trade because the market's moved or something, I don't know. I wouldn't trust a service that could disappear for for an announced maintenance and not communicate anything about it. So it's super important, I think, for the DEX, but it's good to have for the others also.
Yeah, I think so. I think when I saw this come up, and it hadn't been something that I'd ever thought of before, but when it came up, it's like, oh my goodness, it's such a key piece of infrastructure. The other question I did have is when DCR DEX and the mixing service move over to the mesh networks that they're both hoping to move to, will this still be applicable? Will you try and monitor various servers from those mesh networks, or will it no longer be applicable?
We see how the mesh will be implemented. There are likely to be a few kind of seeding services that are needed to for the peers to find each other or rendezvous with each other. So there will be some infrastructure that's probably super simple, but the same way as the seeders work at the moment. So there are 4 of these services right now that are needed for when you start up DCRD, that it can find peers. Again, it's really robustly implemented, and the seeders are kind of like a last resort sort of service that DCRD turns to if it doesn't find any peers on its own. So I imagine it's going to be something along those lines in the DEX mesh.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but you still want to see that those seed nodes are up and running and they have the certificate up to date and things like that. So
well, we had that, didn't we, where these certificates went out of date, and I think it only takes them a few hours to work out, but it's nice to know exactly, or actual fact, it's nice to know or get a warning before they go out of date, so they can be updated before these certificates expire and stuff, which this sort of system would help massively. Exitus, that's kind of the most of my questions. We'll come to the kind of, maybe if there's a difference between the public facing status page and the internal status page in a moment. But do you have any questions, Exitus?
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank Peter and Jamie Holtstock for putting together this proposal. Super important service. I'm surprised we didn't have anything like this before, but really good to see it formally put out there and all the expenses, and to know that the Decred DAO can pay for a service like this. The other week or whatever, I think some websites went down, some certificates expired, and it was kind of like, hey, what's going on? And sometimes the DEX might go down for some reason, and now we have the ability to check these things and make sure they're up and running. So super important for the infrastructure. I don't have any questions about the status page. I was wondering maybe if you guys have, I know you work on the DEX, if there's any possibility for some sort of beta release on, for instance, like the market maker bots, arbitrage bots, some of these new services, if you guys have anything like that planned.
To be honest, I'm not that involved in these kind of strategic decisions. I know that the market maker is coming along quite nicely, and it's being tested, and Martin P is working on it. And there are pull requests, and some of them have already been merged. But I'm not exactly sure at what maturation level it is at the moment.
Okay, and I saw you guys added or Buck added native Circle Polygon USDC from Circle for the Polygon pairs, which I think is going to be really interesting once that goes live, because the fees are so much lower than the Ethereum network. So I've been checking on these things, and I know things are coming along pretty well. And yeah, it's definitely going to be really exciting when the DEX goes live, because there's been a lot of talk about DEXs now that exchanges are talking about delistings and whatnot. So hopefully we're going to be ready for that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the final question that I had was just that there's looking to be two different pages. So you're going to have a front-facing page for status page, and you're going to have an internal page. What will be the main differences there? Will it, I mean, if any?
Well, the front, the public-facing version of the status page would, basically list the services that the users are interested in: DCR data, DCR DEX, and maybe some basic infrastructure. But also the website, matrix, these kind of services. And the you can also set up a more detailed page with the details of those services, because the DEX has or DCR data has a Tor endpoint, a bunch of other things, so there is a bunch of bits in the infrastructure that is not that interesting for the public. So instead of cluttering the public facing page with all those details, you could set up another page. Or basically, it's just views on the same information, but it's super useful to see what is going down. For example, with the certificates and that sort of thing.
Yeah, great. Before we move on to the next proposal, and hopefully, if any of you guys have got any questions in the comments, obviously ask away while we've got Peter here. Is there anything specific that you wanted to add that maybe I've missed for the status page proposal? Do you think we mainly covered it?
Well, yeah, I think we covered it pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I complete sentiments with what Exitus said about just thank you so much for putting this together. And it's not until you see this being proposed, think, oh God, yeah, we definitely need something like that, which is absolutely amazing. And yeah, you guys are doing such great work, and really looking forward to DCR DEX version 1.
Yeah,
as you might say.
it's just quite interesting. Just one bit that B had this spec'd out like 4 years ago. He just posted this link under the proposal. I think he opened an issue, a GitHub, literally 4 years ago now.
It doesn't surprise me that B was ahead of this and thinking about this stuff. It really doesn't surprise me at all. But it's great to see it being done, and that's what's more important. And like the guy said in the comments, it's an absolute no-brainer, really. So. Which brings us to Crypto Power. Unfortunately, Kennedy couldn't be with us today. He did say he might be able to, but he's got other stuff, unfortunately. But I'm sure if there's any pressing comments, we can get him on, and he'll gladly answer anything. But just to go over the proposal, there has been, for the Crypto Power proposal phase 2, there has been quite a big shift from the time that it was proposed to now, which I think is either version 4 or version 5. So just to highlight, the proposal shifted focus slightly to with a reduced budget and a reduced time frame. So now it's something like, I think it was 33,000 for a time frame of 4 months. And the main objective now is to focus on stability and bug fixes, which if you've used, I'm not sure what the desktop version is like. I haven't got hold of that yet. I was more interested in the mobile version, and from what I'm experiencing on the mobile version, there is still quite a lot more work to do. It does work, it's there, but the bug fixing, from my perspective, is probably the high priority. One area that they are trying to address, and that is that Apple iOS are not allowing the centralized exchange servers. So, for those that are not familiar with Crypto Power, what they've done is they've formulated this exchange page, and you've got the option to choose between DCR DEX and simple swaps or centralized exchanges. And Apple are not currently allowing that. They have to kind of jump through a few more hoops for that to happen. But it does make the platform super useful because Crypto Power is a multi-coin wallet. it allows you to kind of chop and change between coins a little bit easier, and having not just one exchange, but having a multitude of them, so you can actually get the best possible price. It's actually quite useful. But work's been done on that to kind of get that through, so that those centralized exchanges can actually appear in the iOS apps, the mobile apps. So out of interest from you guys and in the audience, who's used CryptoPower and what are your general thoughts on it so far?
So
Peter, sorry.
Yeah, I'll go really fast. I've tested out the desktop wallet. It looks really good. It's got like a true dark mode. It's a true multi-coin wallet. The finished version looks really nice. The only caveat I had was the staking and mixing are kind of hidden. Those two features, you have to navigate to the Decred wallet, click the Decred wallet, and only then those features are displayed. But I'm sure they can fix that, and that's something I was looking to report to them. The mobile wallet, yeah, there's on my end, it runs at maybe 10 frames a second, even when synced. I don't know if anyone else reported that, but basically it runs really slow. The back button doesn't work. And there's also something wrong with the send module, but they're pretty receptive to feedback, which is really good. So I think they'll get it fixed. And I do think it was the right move in their proposal just to focus on getting everything working perfectly before you attempt to move on to other features. I know I was an advocate for the virtual prepaid cards, but I didn't realize that was using the Trocador service. And for those who don't know, basically it is a custodial service where you're trusting Trocador because they can actually have access to your gift cards you buy. And when I used their service, I never received an email to activate my prepaid card, and I had to contact them, and it took an hour. And it's something that putting in the wallet might just open a can of worms, basically, that can cause issues. And when you go to pay for this service, it actually uses an InstaSwap service. So you're trusting the InstaSwap service to do the payment, which doesn't always happen. It's a cool idea, but I think putting it in the wallet, like I said, could just lead to more problems, and it could lead to people coming to the Decred support. Hey, I tried to buy a prepaid card and it didn't work. Why isn't it working? Where'd my money go? And it's one of those things where you're trusting other services, and maybe the best thing to do is just to have a link in the wallet to say, hey, if you want to buy a prepaid card, you could use this service. It's here, it exists, but maybe not built into the wallet. And another thing to note is there's about an 8 to 10% markup on the fee, so you're not always getting the best price. But yeah, the wallets are coming along well. And what's interesting is you can use the seed from the original Decred mobile wallets from a few years back in these new wallets to restore your funds. And basically what happened is, because those wallets, there was no longer any support for those wallets, a lot of people got forked off the network, and they're trying to log into their wallet, their mobile wallet, and it's like, oh, why doesn't it work? And it's like, oh, well, we didn't update those, they don't work. And a lot of people kind of got put in this bad position. Now, of course, they can use that seed in the GoDCR desktop or now the mobile wallet to get those funds back. So that's been really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's also important to say that you could use the old mobile wallets. You could also use Decred on the seeds work there as well. But yeah, points taken about the gift cards. I hadn't really thought about that, but then I hadn't really done my research. How about you, Peter? Have you tried CryptoPower yet?
I have tried the desktop app, and it was a few months back, and I really like the way it looks, and it was very well organized, and looked good, really good, and kind of modern as well. And yeah, I found little issues here and there on the front end side of things, but this is it's being really actively developed. So I'm pretty sure those bugs will or have already been fixed. And I totally agree with Exitus about the gift card being maybe taken out of the next batch of work, because I had the same experience. I tried Trocador a few times, and like 3 or 4 parties involved, so your DCR has to travel through 3 parties. All of them take some cut, but it's also a very complicated system that can your funds can be stopped or not credited for a number of reasons. I had to contact I think it was the Change platform because they didn't credit, but it's not trivial to know what party you need to actually contact if there is some problem. So yeah, and it's not like you would use a gift card service every single day, in your wallet. It's you maybe maybe refill your card, every now and then, but maybe it doesn't really. It's not as frequently used to warrant putting it into the wallet. So I totally agree with Exitus, and I'm also quite happy that the development will be concentrated on other things, and I'm really hoping that the Trezor and Ledger will make the cut. I'm not sure what the status is of those two. Have they also been scrapped?
Yeah, from what I can tell, it's literally focusing on bug fixing. Out of interest, this is because I'm not a hardware wallet user, so I can't really speak on this one. So it might be interesting to get Peter's view on this. Why is it so important to have hardware wallet integration into a mobile wallet or into the desktop wallet for you?
Oh, because using a hardware wallet is basically the only way you can make sure that your private key is not leaked, and you have no way to leak your private key, even if you wanted to. With any other wallet, you have to run that wallet on a computer that's reasonably locked down and secured. So you have to also back up your seed and and keep that in a secure place. But the computer you do the transactions on has to be very secure also. There can be a number of kind of attack vectors, like your some malicious application could hijack your clipboard, for example, and insert a new address into whatever wallet applications you're running. With the hardware wallet, you can always check on the display of your Trezor the actual address you're about to send funds to, and you can absolutely 100% can be sure that that's the actual address that you're sending funds to. So it's super important, for maybe not so much for a mobile wallet, because you're probably not supposed to keep a large amount of DCR on any mobile device, but for a desktop wallet that might contain your savings, then a hardware wallet is definitely a good idea.
For those curious, because obviously I am curious about hardware. I've not. I mean, I tend to prefer having just a separate computer for my main wallets, and I just leave it at that. But for those curious, and I suppose that does include me now, I've just heard what you've said. Which one would you suggest currently, or are they both equally as good as each other? Trezor and Ledger, I think they're both. Those are the main two right now, right?
I would suggest Trezor. Ledger has leaked their customers' details, I think maybe even more than once. So at one point they got hacked, and a bunch of their customers, their addresses where they live were leaked, which is really bad because they hold crypto and now people know where they live. I believe Ledger's their wallet, one of their services, has a ton of tracking in it. That was revealed. Personally, I own a Trezor. I've never used Ledger, but you can look into that if you want. Basically, they doxed a bunch of their users, and it was this big thing. I'm surprised people even use Ledger anymore. Tall Americano says in the chat, he says, I use Ledger, but yet my details were leaked. Still bitter about it. So what's cool with Trezor is they have an integration with Exitus Wallet. And Exitus Wallet's one of the better graphical wallets, and it works extremely well. where you can connect your Trezor and just do everything in Exitus wallet, and it supports Decred. So I've tested it, and you can just hold your Decred on that wallet. And of course, Decrediton supports Trezor. But the problem is that they don't support staking. And this is something they've been trying to add, but Trezor and GitHub won't do any changes. And this has been going on for over a year. And this is something they've talked about. I tweeted about it the other week, like, hey, we're trying to add staking for your service, and you're blocking us. And I made a post on their Reddit, and people were like, oh, who cares about that? Like, no one wants to stake that. So it kind of feels bad to be doing work for these guys, and they completely ignore us. So yeah, private wallets, hardware wallets are probably the safest way to hold your coins, but in Decred's case, you can't stake, so it's not as useful.
Do you have a counter to that, Peter?
Yeah, no, Trezor is the gold standard. I agree completely. It's what you want to use. It's also more functional because it has a larger display, so it can confirm addresses and stuff. I think Ledger does. I own a Ledger once, but I gave it away at some point. And I think you could check the sending addresses on that display also, but it was just awkward to use.
So, I mean, based on this discussion, we can slash that budget in half just by saying, let's not do Ledger. Let's just do Trezor,
Yeah.
If that really is the way. I mean, if Ledger has docs to the customers, there's no way we should be endorsing that, I don't think.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So, I think, and all the points you guys have made about gift cards, like I say, I've not used them. I've not needed to use them, but I could probably see a future point that this could be useful. I've talked with Joel, the Desert Links, quite a bit, and he's all for gift cards and things like that. So maybe getting those sort of services.
I think it's great that they're willing to try those new features. Like, I think that's a great step. It's just in this specific instance, the Trocador service, there's, like I said, like we discussed, there's like 3 or 4 different custodians. You're passing all these layers. When I had a VPN running, I couldn't access the gift card. And basically, the main point we're making is if you try to put these things in the wallet, you now bring liability to the Decred developers and community. And it's kind of like, yeah. But I think it's great that they're looking into those things. And of course, the Cake Wallet integration is going to have gift cards as well, but we're not on BTC Pay server, so that's probably not going to work initially. But maybe someone will pick up that work and submit a proposal to do that work.
Yeah, I mean, there's also other options. Once DCR Dex does get USDC pairs on Polygon, moving between Decred and USDC and getting gift cards and prepaid cards really probably isn't going to be that big a deal either. So yeah, there's other way around it. I certainly take the point that you just made, Exodus, about actual fact. We don't really want to be adding things that are going to compromise the dev teams and add a whole bunch of work. We also don't want to really add too much that's going to make the wallet heavier, especially in terms of the mobile wallet. We want that as light as possible. Obviously, we do want function. We want it to be able to be used for real cases. But stability, function should probably come first. In terms of my experiences, I've been trying out the mobile wallet. I haven't tried out CryptoPower's desktop wallet. I'm happy with Decrediton in that respect. So why I want CryptoPower is for the mobile stuff. So I have tested out on an iPad Air 2 and an old iPhone SE, and there have been a few issues. Scrolling was one of them. One of the points that I kind of think about is does the scrolling, especially for proposals and things like that, doesn't need to be in a frame. Why can't the whole thing just scroll? So you can on an iPad, you touch the side and you can just slide up or down. When you try and touch in between text, it gets really fiddly, and I think that's where the scrolling issues are happening on that. What else? There's also some rendering issues with the text, all of which I've reported to Kendi, and he's been absolutely amazing, actually. And that's another point that I would make that Peter made is the team just seems so responsive, and they seem so up for making this a great product. Probably maybe a tiny criticism is maybe 4 months. I don't think is probably enough to do the full bug tests and and beta tests for the mobile versions. So maybe this should have been a 6-month proposal, or maybe even longer. I know that like DCR Dex actually has a much longer runway for testing, and if you're going to get people to put money into a wallet, you really do need to make sure it's solid. I wouldn't at this particular money, I probably wouldn't trust it too much to put large sums in, but that's what we're aiming for. You're going to want people to use it, and you're going to want people to store money in it, so it needs to be pretty solid. Which brings me to my last point on this one. Is there still a need for Decred to build a mobile wallet in-house? I've put here specifically for the Go language, but really and truly, just the point of, is there a need for Decred to build a mobile wallet? Is that necessary still? Do you think we should be doing that, or should we, like they've mentioned in the comments, should we be relying on Cake Wallet and things like that? What are your guys' views on that?
I think it's important to have an in-house wallet. I don't know if Cake Wallet's going to have mixing. I know the mobile is going to support staking. I don't know how many people are actually going to make use of staking on a mobile device. It displays proposals. It really gives you the full experience, which I don't know if Cake Wallet's going to do that. And of course, like you said, maybe something might happen to Cake Wallet down the line, and it might not be maintained. So this is something I think it's worth having for sure.
Yeah, I'm of that view. What do you think, Peter?
Yeah, I agree. It's important, but then again, the DAX will also have a mobile version at some point, and it's probably not too far out either, because basically the building blocks are all already there. So that will also have a basic wallet functionality, and it doesn't know about Politeia yet, but voting is already, the staking is implemented already. So it's basically a matter of connecting the UI to your DAX instance, running preferably at home, on your home computer. So that's already like 3 different mobile wallets. But it's a good question. I mean, it's hard to tell, what the use case is these days for mobile wallets, because it only makes sense if you have some sort of payment infrastructure out there that you can interact with, or pay for your coffee or something.
I think you'd be surprised how many people use mobile wallets to store their funds. Like, we have people coming in Telegram, a regular amount, and when the last wallet got forked off, we had people coming in. A lot of people store their funds on mobile, even as kind of ridiculous as it sounds. So yeah.
I mean, maybe one use case for CryptoPower specifically is the gift cards and the prepaid cards and all of the different infrastructure that already exists in regular crypto, as custodial as it may be. Maybe that is the use case. I mean, you'll quite often hear people like Desert Link say, yeah, well, Decred doesn't have payments, Decred can't actually be used or whatever. So, and really and truly, when they say those things, they're really saying, well, Dash or whatever they're interested in now connects to these centralized cards, these gift cards. So by having that kind of bragging right, kind of, just puts Decred on those same level playing field, which I don't know, maybe that could be one of the use cases. Generally speaking, I think the development team's doing well, and they're heading in the right direction. The only other 2 things that I've noted here that they're trying to do is add Lightning Network support and Bison Relay support. Once again, I'm not sure. I mean, I've had Lightning support in Decrediton for years, and I've never used it. And when I tried to, I found it completely difficult. On Bison Relay, on the other hand, I use it all the time, and it's amazing. So without a specific use case, I'm not sure how much that would get used. What do you guys think? Would you use Lightning Network in a mobile wallet like CryptoPower?
So Decred's layer 1 is fine, probably for a long time. So the need for a layer 2 like Lightning, it's not there. And Lightning it's pretty complicated, and it's probably very difficult to implement. So it's not something I would support. Bison Relay, I'd be curious if the Bison Relay could look at the SPV node being run in CryptoPower to use, so it's all integrated. I think that would be interesting. Bison Relay also is very early in development, so it's it's difficult to say what benefit there would be to integrating something like that so early. But I would be more supportive of Bison Relay over Lightning if I had to pick.
Yeah, I think so too. How about you, Peter? Anything?
Yeah, I don't think Bison Relay belongs to a mobile wallet at this point. Yeah, I can't really see, but maybe it's just lack of my lack of vision. But Lightning, yeah, I kind of agree. It's super complicated, not exactly needed at this point, but I kind of think it would be good to do some work on it, and eventually, actually, in order to push the implementation to maturity a little bit, because if we're not working on it, then it's never gonna get less clunky as it is now. So I think it would be good to have at least some kind of proof of concept kind of implementation, because it might come in handy actually in the context of trading and exchanges, because with the on layer 1 you can't really even though fees are not crazy at the moment on the Decred network, but still you can't, if you move or if you want to trade in size and execute a high number of trades, then you eventually want to get a lower fee kind of experience, and Lightning could just do that. For example, if you would like to run a market maker, then the fees will probably make it completely unfeasible to run a market maker on layer 1. But with Lightning, it could be interesting, and building that kind of functionality into mobile app would kind of be interesting. I would kind of agree with Exitus, though. It's not super important at this moment, but I would support spending some resources on it, just so that it just kind of moves forward.
Yeah, nice view on the trading side of things there. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that one. I should caveat that Bison Relay is actually available for mobile now. Not on iOS, but it is available for Android, which is being thoroughly tested as of version 0.2, I think it was. The interface looks pretty good, but I do like the idea of what Peter said about being able to use Lightning Network for trading, especially if you are going to use DCR DEX. That will make it a lot faster for market maker bots and things like that. There was also a part of the CryptoPower that was saying about bringing in Bitcoin's Lightning Network, which could also be quite interesting, I thought. That's pretty much all of my thoughts on CryptoPower, unless you guys have got any other thoughts you want to add, or if there's any other community thoughts. No, we happy enough? Fantastic stuff. Are there any questions that we need to cover in the comments, Exitus?
No. Tall Americano says MetaMask works quite well, and if DCR had a way to have maybe wrapped DCR, I would use this for small amounts to spend anywhere I could. We can move on to I think my proposals.
Yeah. And once again, guys, are you off, Peter?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us, Peter. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, and we look forward to speaking again. Hopefully, the proposal goes through. But thank you so much. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter.
Take care.
Take care. Okay.
Absolutely amazing.
right.
Before we go any further, guys, if you have any questions, obviously chuck them out, because we can always ask the devs at a different point, especially Kennedy, who's up for kind of improving the CryptoPower wallet as much as he possibly can, and they can only really do that if they have honest feedback from all of us. So yeah, obviously give that feedback. So the proposal that's not currently on Politaire at the moment, which hopefully should be there tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, is the Vanguard proposal for 2024. And the project, as you all know, the Vanguard project is an outreach program aiming to improving Decred's marketing and wider outreach. So the first question I have for you, Exus, is what have you learned after running this for a year? What have your overall experiences been, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what are you looking to improve?
I think the main thing we learned is that being loud about Decred works. Even though Decred's market this past year hasn't been very good, it hasn't been in our favor. What matters is we need to be loud about Decred. We need to get new eyes on it, and I think being active on social media like Twitter and running giveaways here and there, it is effective. And maybe I could just talk about what's going to be in the proposal. It might make more sense. Basically, we're planning on running ads on Twitter. It's called promoted post. So basically, it's a Twitter post, and you promote it, so a lot of different eyes get on it. And we're going to limit that to $1,000 a month, and we feel that's a good trade-off of not spending too much money on it, but also spending enough to where you can see results. Another thing we want to do is run a little more giveaways. Basically, on Reddit, you can pay the admins of our cryptocurrency to run Ask Me Anythings, which are really important, and you can do giveaways. And it's not a very expensive number. It's only around $150 you have to pay. So, for instance, when Dex version 1 is released, we can have an Ask Me Anything. We can put this out there, and they'll pin it to the top of the subreddit. So you're getting a lot of new eyes on it, and that's really the big thing. Getting new eyes on Decred. That's our goal. And also cultivating a good community effort. Hello.
Hi guys. I can't hear you, Phoenix. Are you
Phoenix, we
muted?
can't hear you.
It's because I muted myself. Sorry about that. How you doing, Kendi? You okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. I tell you what we'll do. We'll just run through what we're doing with the Vanguard project, and let's come back to crypto. Let's cycle back to Crypto Power, and let's kind of get some of those questions answered we've just been covering. That'd be absolutely amazing. Sorry, you were just saying. So your mission going forward. Obviously, Ask Me Anything on Discord. Is it Discord you said?
No, Reddit.
Oh, Reddit.
So
Yeah,
it's the biggest cryptocurrency subreddit. So it wouldn't be on Discord. No, it'd be in front of a lot of new people.
Wow. So being able to promote in our cryptocurrency on Reddit would be absolutely huge, wouldn't it? Really? How many
So
members have they got?
they have a lot. Basically, I don't know if you saw this, but Nano did a giveaway on Reddit the other week, and it got 10,000 replies. They gave away $500, but it got tons of replies, tons of reception, and maybe we can repeat something like that. Basically, in the proposal, we're requesting a discretionary fund of about $15,000. And we don't expect to spend all of this, but these funds are going to be used to try different things like the giveaways on Reddit, Ask Me Anythings, that kind of thing. And another proposal I submitted is also to refresh the Decred website. So if you want to run ads, you need a website that makes sense to people, that is showing them what it's doing. And the current website looks really good, but it's a little bit too vague and abstract. You click on it, it doesn't really tell you what Decred is. It feels like it's more geared towards people already in Decred. So we did a website refresh, and maybe I can pull it up on screen because it's basically finished. We already finished it pretty much. So we have a proposal basically just that's going to request approval from stakeholders to deploy it. Let's see, maybe I can
Yeah, if you
share
present,
my
I should be able to
screen.
add you. Yeah.
Let's see. Can you guys see
Okay.
this?
Here it comes. There you go. Oh, look at that.
So basically, you click on. We didn't change. It's a refresh. It's not a whole new thing. We kept the tagline "Decred Money Evolved." But we have, a quick intro text. Decred is a cryptocurrency designed to upgrade and evolve over time based on the direction of its coin holders. So you're at least getting the information. This is a cryptocurrency. And then we have some core information. Layer 1, it's a DAO, no ICO. It's hybrid proof of work, 21 million coin cap, and it's self-funded. So you get this kind of core information right away. And we think this is important to a lot of people. So, certain things like, there's no ICO, 21 million coin cap. And then scrolling down, we have a features section. And basically it has 8 of Decred's core features: staking, voting, treasury, proposals, security, untraceable, lightning, and DEX.
That
We're
is
probably
really
going to
cool.
change. Sorry, what was that?
That is really cool. I
Yeah,
love that.
it looks good. It looks good, especially on mobile, because the mobile view, it doesn't show everything at once. It's like little by little. But we're going to change untraceable probably just to say optional privacy, because we want to make it very clear Decred's privacy is optional, especially with some of the regulation stuff that's been going on. So we have kind of the 8 core features, and you'll be able to click this and it'll bring you down to explain more. And then we have a quick stats section. This isn't completely finished. We're going to say, for instance, the 16 million is going to show the actual number. But basically, you have a lot of the core statistics: the number of coins mined, the circulating supply, the total staked, and we have it in nice big numbers. And this conveys to people, wow, 61% of the supply is staked. Staking is completely self-custodial. We have the treasury amount. We're gonna change this so it displays the actual treasury amount, and then the smaller version is going to have the amount in USD, because we want to show we're holding the treasury in Decred and not USD, right? And then of course it just tells you self-funded from 10% of the block reward. And then we have the stake reward, which is really important. This is something people ask us all the time. Hey, what's the stake reward? And here it's telling you right away. So you're getting rewarded for staking and voting. And this is something I really wanted to add, which was the block reward reduction. So it's going to constantly tell you when there's going to be a block reward reduction, and it explains, hey, block reward reduces by 1% every 21 days. So I think that's something people really love to see. They really love the halvings, the block reward reductions. And here in Decred, since it happens so often, it's kind of exciting. It's like, wow, in 4 days, the block reward reduces. So
That's
this
really
is,
So
sorry, go ahead.
rather than waiting 4 years, every 21 days we can have these massive events.
Yeah. But basically, we've got these nice big numbers. These numbers are pulled from DCR data, so they update in real time. And if you're not running JavaScript, maybe some things won't show. So it's dynamic. So if you're someone who doesn't like JavaScript, the site will still work and look good. And then here we kind of have a why Decred section, explaining it was built by a team of Bitcoin developers, working with Monero developer Taco Time. We have some quotes from Kathy Wood. If I understand it correctly, Decred could solve most of Bitcoin's structural problems. So we really wanted to include that. And then in the Explore More section, it's kind of similar, but it's much more direct. Decred puts coin holders in control. Decred has development that never stops. Proposals, it talks about Decred being a DAO. So it's kind of it talks about the DEX. So it really lists all of the core features that we listed in the feature section. So it's much more informative. I think it looks a bit more exciting than what we currently have. And it's certainly more newcomer friendly, which is going to basically get us ready for ads, right? So that proposal was submitted about 2-3 days ago. I'm just waiting for it to go live. And once stakeholders approve it, it will go live. And the work for all of this was about $3,000 USD. So it wasn't very expensive to do. So
if you don't mind me asking, who did the work for that?
This was me, Tivra, Jay Holdstock did the development, and Sander did the design. And then B and Jay-Z were the feedback.
Yeah, that's that was good. I really like that. So is that part of the Vanguard proposal? Or is that a separate one?
No, it's its own proposal. So I submitted 2 different proposals a few days ago, just waiting for them to be vetted, because it didn't make sense to include this in its own proposal, right? Because maybe people want to reject Vanguard, but they like the website. So just it's easier that way. It's 2 different proposals. And I think that's maybe something people should explore more. I know last year the DEX, they had a bunch of different proposals, not just one mega proposal, because you can allow people to kind of pick and choose what they want to include. I think that's a bit better way of doing it. It's easy. It's not that hard to do it like that either.
Yeah, I actually like that approach. That makes a lot of sense to me. So, but the work done now on the website looks great actually. So, making it user friendly, I think this has been a big criticism. A lot of what Decred does over the past is kind of we are very technical. The community tends to be more technical. So, to try and break these things down so it's more understandable for outsiders and newcomers makes complete sense, and they can always become more technical. But giving these overviews that are as simplistic as possible makes things a lot easier to onboard. That's for sure. Anything else you want to add about your Vanguard proposal?
Let me think. What else is there to
Why
talk about?
why
We're going to develop contributor tiers. So basically, right now we have it at the entry level is $100. You get $100 a month to participate. You get Twitter Blue, which helps you with reach. But now we're going to have a new tier, which is $400, and this is for the really productive people, active people. So, for instance, we have one user, To the Moon. He speaks Chinese. He helps Chinese users, and he's going to start up a Chinese Decred account and be active on it. Right now, there's a Chinese Decred Twitter account, but it maybe posts once a month. It just tweets out the journal, which isn't really enough. We need someone actively tweeting a lot. And yeah, basically, there's a new contributor role for the most active people because we have certain members who are really loyal, really active, always going at it. So basically, this is rewarding them. So it allows people to work their way up.
One question I've got in my list of comments here is obviously your proposal was the first time we'd seen this stipend model where you onboard people and you say, look, you're getting £100 for this month. Obviously, you're going to get your blue as well, your Twitter Blue. One question I have is how have you found that for people that maybe obviously it's easy when you've got these people that are super productive. It's easy because they do lots of work and that's fine. But how have you found it for people that maybe are getting $100 for just tweeting once a month? How have you dealt with that situation?
Well, we found people who aren't active just stop billing, and they kind of just leave. This past year has been pretty difficult as far as the market goes, and it's really difficult to get people motivated because people mainly want to see, number go up, price go up. And we plan on running things like ads during periods of time when the market is up, because sometimes Decred goes up 50% in one day. It kind of has these wild swings, so we really want to capitalize on that. But as far as people, if they don't really contribute, the thing is, it's $100. It's not that much money. It's not like you're wasting tons of money. But I would say towards the end, we only had a handful of active people. The proposal used half of even less than half of the budget. It used $20,000 against a budget of 44,000. So it didn't cost that much money. Basically, it was pretty cost effective.
I think it was completely just to actually try these things. And I mean, the main reason I ask is I'm kind of moving over to this in the cypherpunk times. I'm moving over to a more of a stipend model where, rather than every article is produced and it gets this amount of money and it differs based on the article. I just want one model, boom. And I was very curious about how you were targeting, how you were kind of working out value. Who's worth paying that money, who's worth paying more money, and as that goes forward. But it kind of makes sense because it is such a low amount. What you're doing actually does make sense that, they tend to roll, people that are not productive or don't care tend to roll off anyway. And I suppose you had a similar problem with your contest as well, where you had people kind of generating AI content or regurgitating old content and having to deal with all of these kind of gaming mechanisms. It can be quite challenging, but I also think it's worth exploring, seeing if you can reduce that element and hone in on it.
Yeah, the meme contests I don't think we're going to run those anymore just because it was interesting. It was fun. I thought some of them were really funny, but the problem is, you get all these people who kind of just copy paste the meme and they get flooded. And those people, they didn't end up winning, but they did get a lot of views. And what it does is it does kind of help your algorithm your reach in the Twitter algorithm when you get a bunch of views and stuff. But that's something we're not going to pursue. We're going to do giveaways structured around getting people to the software. So get it, when Dex releases, having giveaways that push people to where they have to download the wallet in order to qualify, that kind of stuff. The problem with the Crediton is it has a 33-word seed, so it's a little bit more difficult. So with Crypto Power, we can push people to Crypto Power with giveaways, the Dex, buys and relays. So that's what the giveaways are going to focus on moving forward. So yeah, unfortunately, we're going to stop the meme contests just because they kind of got a little out of control. And if people really want to see them again, we can bring them back. But that was my initial thinking, was we should probably stop the meme contest. But hey, when the proposal goes live, please comment. We need people commenting on proposals and not just commenting on Element or Discord or Telegram. Like, make a Politeia account, leave a comment. I'm telling you, it matters.
One of the points I would make about the meme contest, as you said yourself there, is the actual fact it helped the algorithm. And at what, $100 to help the algorithm, it's a no-brainer that you would run them. No matter if people think, oh yeah, you're getting loads of junk or whatever. But if it is helping the algorithm and it's helping push through those barriers, it's a no-brainer for me. Then it should still happen. And obviously you'll have to work out, and it's a lot of work from probably your end, but Decred needs that algorithm to work in its favor. But it's interesting, and we'll pull over to Kennedy here. It's interesting that you wanted to include Crypto Power and actually the products themselves. How have you found all this? Have you been following the Vanguard proposal and what they've been up to, Kennedy? I think you're muted, mate.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's right.
Yeah, well, I saw the last proposal. I think we had a proposal up before, but I haven't seen any recent ones. I'm guessing because it's not approved yet, so it's like, but I think it's very vital work. I think it's very important work. Someone has to get that done. I'm happy that we have people in the community that are ready to pick up certain aspects of development and take it upon themselves to make the code better.
Yeah, definitely.
And from what Exitus has shown us in its current the current website design, is a very good improvement. I think it's very much needed because it reduces the amount of let's say clicking you have to do to get the most important information you want right off the bat. So yeah, it's definitely a no-brainer.
Just to say, Kendi, your volume is a little bit low at the minute, mate. So if you've got any way of turning that up, that would be absolutely amazing. But basic gist is you like the improvements to the website and you're happy with the way that the Vanguard stuff's going, which is absolutely amazing. And I completely agree. Actually, I think what Vanguard did was kind of introduce some mechanisms that other communities were already using, were already doing, but we're just trying to do it, bring the community in. And it's going to be lovely to see that kind of extended. One last thing before we cycle back to Crypto Power is something that Official Crypto's brought up this week in a discussion I was having with him. And that was about doing shout outs. And I've started doing this on the Cypherpunk Times Twitter handle. The idea that you'd shout out individuals for the work that they're doing and communities and really give recognition to those that are doing great work. Actually, and it's something that projects like Digibyte are really, really good at, where they kind of acknowledge these people doing this work and they kind of get the community to praise them. And it's something that that Official Crypto's brought up. And I actually thought, yeah, that's probably something that we definitely need to do. And there's so much work going on in the space that it is beneficial that we say, look at what Exitus is doing, look at what Kennedy's doing, go and support these guys and let's get behind this stuff. Any final words about Vanguard from you, Exitus?
No, that's about it. The proposal should be live anytime now, and looking forward to people's feedback. It's just, again, it's difficult to promote cryptocurrency in a bear market, and the last 6 months has been pretty bad. But obviously, things are turning around. I think 2024 is clearly going to be a bull market. Obviously, no promises, but we want to be ready for when that happens. And I think Vanguard's very cost effective. doesn't cost huge amounts of money. It's well below six figures, so it's sustainable. It's not something where you're throwing tons of money at it and nothing comes of it, and you're like, oh man, it's not like say the PR work where you spend a bunch of money, nothing really happens, and this is pretty cost effective, and it's all variable. So all the amounts we use are variable. It's not like, oh, here's the amount that we're asking and we're going to spend it all. The proposal is probably going to cost half of the amount we ask, if less. So everyone does a pretty good job of not just building the maximum. They build variable based on how active they are, which I think is really good.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've only used half your budget, that's absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's one of those things that we definitely need. We definitely need to do more, and we've now got the scope, especially in the video proposal in Vanguard, to actually bring more community members in and actually start doing more and actually rewarding for good incentives, which is absolutely brilliant. So we've already done the crypto power, but Kennedy's has been able to join us in this last bit, which is absolutely amazing. I would warn you, he's already said in the chat, in the private chat with me, that his connection is it's all over the place at the minute. So please just excuse that. But it's great for you to be here, Kennedy. It's great for you to kind of have your say about the direction of the proposal. Now, I'm not sure how much of it you caught, but the general gist of it is the proposal has now moved from lots and lots of new, not lots, but maybe 2 or 3 new features. And now we're just going to be focusing for the next 4 months on bug fixing and stabilizing the product. Is that right? If you want to, what's the main aim there?
First off, is my mic better?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. I had a couple of comments coming on elements and also on proposal, and I think I agree, because we've done so much work to get the mobile wallet released, which was not an easy feat. And I think what people want, more importantly than new features, is having a product they can rely on. And the crypto power wallet the mobile wallet is less than maybe 2 weeks old, and people want it to be tested, to be battle tested, to be hardened, to be trusted. They want people to come on the app, whether it's on a Monday, on a Tuesday in the morning, in the afternoon, and be sure it's going to do what they want it to do. So, and we've seen a lot of complaints, a couple of feedback from users on the beta version that, okay, we have this not working. Like, for example, the back button wasn't working, and we've been able to fix that. We fix that downstream. We are looking to the build team to fix it upstream, but apparently that back button feature works upstream. So there was something in our downstream code that might have been a problem, but we fixed that, and we pushed the release, the new version, to the Google Play Store. And so I think it's just a better direction to focus on having the app well-rounded, working perfectly, directly addressing user feedback. If someone, because people don't like to talk to developers because they feel their complaints are never going to get heard. But if you have like kind of one-to-one user developer scenario where you have people making content, people giving feedback, and the development team is eagerly ready to implement that feedback, address the concern, and push out a better product, I think that is where the power of development really comes in, and people really want to use that software and really they'll be eager to give feedback back to the development team. So that was where that direction came from, and I think it's the best direction for us to head in right moment, because we could always add more features at a later point in the future, but stabilizing the app is always going to be more important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Your mic is starting to still jump out a little bit. If you move, it jumps out, so stay still. But one thing I would like to elaborate on is in your proposal as well, you talked about upstream and downstream, but for us non-technicals, what is the definition of upstream and downstream? What does that mean in terms of the bug?
Okay, so let me clarify that. Upstream refers to the Geo UI, while downstream refers to the crypto power code base. So we have some issues that are actually originating upstream. That is to say, the Geo UI code base, which is why we have a partnership with the Geo team. We are sponsoring them over the next few months. So whatever issues that are relating to crypto power gets prioritized pre-order sponsorship. So that's where upstream and downstream comes from. Sorry for the mix up and the conversation.
No, that's all right. I'd heard the term before, but I wasn't 100% sure how kind of it was being applied. But that's nice. So it's how the two products, the interface and the code behind the interface, are kind of connecting to each other. I'm presuming.
Yeah.
One of the points that I'm not sure how much of the pre-discussion you caught with Peter, but some really good points were there. We talked about the hardware wallet specifically, and from what we were ascertaining is really and truly there's only one hard wallet needed when you go down that route, and that's the Trezor one. Apparently the Ledger one is not all that. Would you agree with that, or is that something that Exitus and Peter prefer?
I think it's preference based because I've spoken to quite a number of people, and that was because the initial version of the proposal had Trezor only. But then I had a couple of people who said, "Oh, we use Ledger. Why are we not getting Ledger?" Right? And that was what made me into add Ledger as part of the work to be done in the proposal. So I believe there are some subset of users who love Trezor for a particular set of reasons, and we also have those who love Ledger for different sets of reasons.
The only point that that Exitus was making on that one, and I don't know if Exitus would prefer to make it, but it was about the I don't know if it was a hack or something where they basically just doxed all of their customers, or certainly a large number of their customers, and gave away their addresses and stuff like that. That was the Ledger platform apparently, and it's certainly something that having that happen, it's, I don't know, maybe the community wouldn't be so readily to support something like that. But I mean, do you have any other views on that, or is that kind of the subset want it, so we just build it? Or...
Yeah, I did hear about the let's say hack or whatever that complication was with Ledger. I'm not certain if this affected this share wallets, because when I was looking into this, I did not see any complaints relating to this share wallets. So we assume this share wallets were affected, but I can't say for sure. But and despite that happening, people still want to use Ledger, which I can't see the reason why. But if you have people requesting for a feature, I feel it makes sense to make that feature available for them. Personally, I use. Sorry about that. Personally, I use Trezor. That's a preferred choice for me. Yeah.
I quite liked X's point before about making sub proposals. So, for instance, he had the website part of the Vanguard, but separated it all out. And I almost think with these new features, maybe we should crypto. If we're going forward, crypto, and obviously we definitely want to. And maybe we should have a proposal each year for the bugs and the support, and making sure the core mechanisms are kept up to date. But then maybe have a separate proposal for each feature, so we can actually ascertain which, if that feature is 100% wanted by the community. And I know it's a bit of a pain having to put up separate proposals, but it certainly would be a better mechanism. I saw on your proposal from the first draft, there was a couple of criticisms about the prepaid cards and things like that. But one thing that kind of struck me from what X has just said is if they were separated out, you would definitely be able to tell if that was the view of the whole community or if it was just an individual. Yeah, that's just something that's come to mind really. But anything else that you want to add about what the current direction? So as we said before, the main goal going forward is about bug fixing, making this mobile product completely stable, making the desktop product completely stable and working from that base. But is there any other things that kind of you want to add?
So I was discussing with the crypto team over the weekend, and this has not been decided on yet, but I was thinking of going in a direction where we modify this proposal to provide a 1-year long-term support for the desktop and the mobile wallet. That's definitely going to see a slight increase in budget, probably to about 60K, 70K. We definitely will not plan to use all other funds available, but just in case the need comes, because from all the feedback we've gotten so far, there is no major showstopper. They are more what comes in are more of UI issues, which are relatively easy and cost effective to fix. So and then like Exitus has suggested, we can now have when we have that long term support proposal ongoing, we can now start to say, okay, this is a proposal to add Trezor, this is to add Ledger, this is to add virtual prepaid card. I think it's a great idea. So, but yeah, we're thinking of going in the direction of a 1 year long-term support proposal. So we know that whatever issues comes up within the space of February 2024 to February 2025, that we're we have the team ready to fix it, no matter how big or small the issue might be. That's the direction I'm thinking of leaning towards with this proposal. Because I also caught where you said you think 3 months can be a short time for bug fixes, and that is actually accurate. It might be enough, it might not be enough because we have that proposal considering what the feedback we've been able to gather so far. But the question comes in to say, okay, what if more feedback comes that we don't know yet? So how do we address that? So I think it is the wise decision to have ample room to tackle that issue. So probably going to extend the duration of the proposal and increase the budget to just cover whatever might come up within the space of 1 year. I'm not sure how the community is going to react to that, but I will try and gather some feedback from people.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kendi. Your microphone has unfortunately broken out. I try not to be rude there, but I'm very conscious that the people listening probably wouldn't have understood fully what you're saying. But the general gist is you're going to put together a new proposal, probably a support package for a year and separate proposals. Is that what you said, roughly?
Actually, modification to the current proposal.
Yeah.
To go for a year support of bug fixing and stabilization.
Okay.
Let's see if I can turn off this. 1 second.
Sorry about that, Kendi.
Yeah.
It certainly is worth making sure everyone can hear you. Is it good now?
Is it better now? Can you hear me better now?
Exus, can you hear me okay now?
I'm struggling to understand you, Kennedy. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Let me try taking off the AirPod.
That sounds a little bit better. Mate, I mean,
is it by any chance better?
No, it's still breaking out, unfortunately. Not to worry. I tell you what we could do is probably should. Oh, Tall America said it's a bit better. Go on then.
Okay, this is a bit better.
Yeah. Go on then.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I was talking about the current proposal and modifying it. So right now we have a 3 months period for general bug fixing and stabilization. But what happens if, because we have that in mind because of the feedback we've gotten from users currently, so that's why we have that duration. But what if more feedback comes that we have not envisioned? How do we treat it? So I'm thinking of changing the duration of that proposal to 1 year, and adding sufficient budget that will be able to take us from February 2024 to 2025 on a long-term support.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were trying to say, and that makes so much more sense to me. To be fair, having year blocks rather than small chunks, and especially for the beta process, you really do need to. It takes time to get all that feedback back as well. So yeah, having those year blocks where you can pull it in does make a lot more sense than the short period for sure. Guys, I think I'm going to call that a day now. We've gone on for an hour and 23 minutes. It's actually been a mammoth one. But I mean, Kennedy, if you want to come on to the next one and talk us through what you're up to, we're more than welcome to have you on. It's absolutely great talking to you, and hopefully we'll have better audio next time, which will be absolutely amazing.
All right.
Exus, as always, it's been absolutely amazing, and thank you to Peter Zem for coming on and talking about his proposal, the status webpage, which looks absolutely amazing. So lots of exciting stuff happening, lots of momentum going forward, which is the main thing, and hopefully we're going to see some really great stuff coming out of Crypto Power, the status page, and Vanguard. Any final words?
Hey, thanks guys for watching. Be sure to comment on the proposals on Politeia, just so we know what you're thinking. It's really important people start using the tools we have for governance.
Kendi, I'll let you sign us off.
Thanks a lot for having me, Phoenix and Exitus. Thanks a lot for the constructive criticism. That's very important for development. Thanks for all the beta testers of the mobile app. Thanks for all the feedback. Really appreciate it. We're doing all we can to fix the issues brought up. We've fixed a couple of them and pushed an update, and we're working on the rest. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you in the next one.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Yeah.